Ever notice how your bank balance can literally change the way time feels? It's kind of crazy, right? Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a pretty mind-bending concept from the text How Much It Weighs. We're looking at money not just as dollars and cents, but as a literal, physical force. A force that actually bends time, alters your perception, and completely warps the space around you.
To wrap our heads around this, we first need to understand what the source material calls the field. Think of money like a massive planet with its own gravitational pull. Just like a planet bends light, money bends what gets seen and what passes completely unseen in our everyday lives. So if you get hit with an unexpected bill, or maybe you stumble into a massive windfall, your field shifts. Your reality literally changes. The physics of money. We're going to unpack the invisible laws that govern our emotional relationship with our bank accounts. We are completely redefining how we understand financial stress and financial relief by looking closely at how everyday people navigate these intense currents that they can't always control.
Okay, Section 1. Instruments in the field. Let's look at the everyday people, the instruments caught in this gravity. Take Thomas Foss. He's a freelance designer who's experiencing the heavy, crushing gravity of debt and shrinking margins. Now contrast him with Margaret Anand. She's a nutritionist who just inherited a massive, life-altering sum of money from her Aunt Nora. While Thomas's lack of money compresses his time into this anxious, urgent state, Margaret's sudden wealth creates a disorienting temporal suspension. For her, it's just a complete pause.
For Thomas, this isn't some sudden, dramatic crash. It's what the text calls a slow emergency. 22 months ago, his freelance income was totally steady, but then it started receding, kind of like a tide going out, steady, quiet, without much drama. 14 months ago, his house, which desperately needs a new roof, went completely underwater in value. And today? He's sitting at a bank lobby applying for a modified home equity line of credit. This slow drain is fundamentally altering the very shape of his life.
Now flip the script. 43. That is exactly how many days Margaret has been waiting since she got the lawyer's letter about her massive inheritance. She hasn't changed a single thing about her life yet. She's just stuck in this suspended state, waking up in the middle of the night trying to figure out who she's going to become now that this massive sum of money is a hard fact about her life.
Moving on to Section 2, Time, Gravity, and Perception.
The big takeaway here is that financial states act as literal filters for our attention. For Thomas, debt makes looking at menu prices or a broken roof a matter of absolute survival. He is hyper-focused on costs. For Margaret, sudden wealth just knocks down all the walls of her life. But instead of feeling free, it creates this disorienting absence of anxiety, a void she has no idea how to fill. And then you have Daniel, the loan officer at the bank processing Thomas's loan. Daniel sits at the center of other people's financial fields all day long, absorbing his client's silent trauma, which slowly but surely depletes his own emotional reserves.
And then you have guys like Gregor. He's a delivery driver running on razor-thin margins. When a sudden increase in his mother's care facility costs hits him, he doesn't have the luxury to panic. He suddenly needs 3 months of absolute unyielding focus to bridge that financial gap.
But Gregor doesn't freeze. Step 1, he identifies the exact gap. Step 2, he uses his texture knowledge. Gregor knows his delivery routes way better than any optimization algorithm ever could. He knows which gates are broken, which apartment supers will actually sign for packages, and step 3, he leverages that exact grounded knowledge to land a higher-paying operations role. He literally works around the system's gravity to save his margins.
Which brings us to Section 3. A provisional glossary. Let's translate some cold, hard banking terms into devastatingly accurate human emotions. Take liquidity. Formally, sure, it means how quickly you can turn an asset into cash, but the text redefines it informally. It's how fluidly a person can move through life. It's a measure of exactly how many options remain open to you at any given moment.
Apply that to our characters. Thomas is anchored by a depreciating, totally illiquid house. He is trapped. His movements are severely restricted. Margaret, on the other hand, is handed so much liquidity by her Aunt Nora that she temporarily loses her structural boundaries. She has too much movement, and honestly, it paralyzes her.
Next up is amortization. In the banking world, you're paying off a loan where those early payments are mostly interest and the later ones finally hit the principal. But the text brilliantly applies this concept to the painful, incredibly slow process of human grief.
It's been 2 years since his wife Ellen left, and Thomas is finally, as the text puts it, amortizing his marriage. Initially, the pain was all interest, right? He was just servicing the daily, agonizing cost of the separation without actually reducing the core loss. But now, he's finally paying down the principal of his grief. The pain is shifting. He's beginning to move on.
Then we've got compound interest. Sure, it's about money growing in an account, like Margaret's aunt, quietly accumulating wealth in an Edinburgh flat for 30 years. But more importantly, it's the mechanism by which time allies with our actions to exponentially grow whatever is already there.
You can see positive compound interest in a character like Frank Olson. Frank has 33 years of dedicated work baking bread. His patient, steady actions compound into profound stability and a successful business expansion. Pitted against that, we see negative compound interest. Thomas deferring the maintenance on his roof, which quietly compounds over months into a literal and financial structural crisis.
And that leads right into Section 4, calculating true balance.
We all hear the term net worth thrown around constantly. On paper, it's a totally cold calculation. Subtract everything you owe from everything you own. Society loves to use this as a proxy for a person's overall health or success, but the source text asks us to look so much deeper than that.
When you actually lay out these characters side by side, the disconnect is wild. Thomas has a negative financial net worth, but emotionally, his resilience is recovering and he's still got his incredible design skills. Margaret's financial net worth is off the charts, but emotionally, she is totally suspended, desperately seeking purpose. And Gregor, his bank account is stretched incredibly thin, but his emotional net worth is defined by this massive compounding competence. Their bank balances absolutely do not dictate their human value.
Which gives us such a beautiful redefinition of balance. It's not a state of settled accounts. It's not some permanent destination you arrive at once all your debts are finally paid off. It's a physical practice. It is the active, continuous process of moving toward and away from stability with grace, right in the middle of ordinary daily difficulty.
There's this fantastic moment where Margaret's financial advisor, Claire, addresses Margaret's guilt. When Margaret agonizingly questions if she has done enough to deserve this wealth, Claire reframes it entirely. She says deserve is the wrong frame. Responsibility is the right one. It's never about worthiness, it's entirely about what you choose to do with the field you happen to find yourself in.
So, I want to leave you with this. What is the principle in a life? When you strip away the interest, the compounding daily anxieties, the debt, and the heavy gravitational pull of money, what is the core principal value of your own life? What actually remains when all the accounts are finally settled? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.